Today I'm doing a review on an everyday car that probably you've owned, driven, or know someone that owns at some point. And it is a 2008 Vauxhall Vectra. Oh, I know, the excitement is rushing through me right now. This particular model is the Elite. It's the 1.9 turbo diesel. It's the 150 brake version. Ooh, the power. It has 135,000 miles on the clock currently. I purchased this car about 4 years ago for £5,000. It had 92,000 miles on the clock. It had just had its full service, its full big service. So it had the timing chain done, it had the water pump done, all the belts, and new disc pads all around. I had new tyres on it as well when I bought it. Basically it was, because I was doing a lot of mileage at the time, around a sort of like 80 mile a day-ish to work. So the GTR was costing me an absolute fortune. So I decided to opt for this so that I could run this sort of half the week to save me at least a bit of fuel money. I went for the automatic version, mainly because a lot of the time I was spending in traffic, and I mean, I love my GTR to pieces, don't get me wrong, but in traffic, oh, it's full leather interior, heated seats, the usual electric windows, electric mirrors, central locking, automatic wipers, automatic lights, built-in sat-nav. It's got Bluetooth for your phone and play your music through and stuff. Usual steering wheel controls to flick through your onboard computer to control your stereo. Yeah, to be fair, it's quite well equipped for the money. You know, to get the equivalent equipment in like a more expensive brand car, you would pay easily twice the money, which was another reason it appealed to me. In terms of running costs, I'm not going to count tyres, brakes, exhaust, anything like that. They're sort of perishables, expendables. So I've had the car 4 years. It's had 2 exhaust temperature senders, which were £100 each. It's had a new alternator, which was £136. It's had a new ball joint on the front. It's had a new ABS unit. It's had 2 new front hubs. I think that's it. In terms of driving wise, if you want a car just to pop to work to, which is what I wanted it for, pop to work, pop to the shops, it's a perfectly acceptable car. I wouldn't say there's anything particularly wrong with it for that. If you wanted a car to go, I don't know, drive remotely quickly or take a corner with any kind of speed or aggression, this is not the car for you. I mean, I see so many people that have got modified Vectras, either the 2-litre turbo version or the VXRs or even the SRI diesels, you know, and they lower them and they hammer them around corners, and it's just like, really? I mean, this is one of the worst chassis in terms of handling I have ever driven. I'd swear the back of the car doesn't even feel like it's joined to the front, and the front of the car, it's like the way the subframe setup is designed on these, it's like as if the suspension and the chassis and then the body on top, it's like, instead of bushes, imagine there was a big thick film of jello that joined the car to the chassis and then also joined the chassis together. So like, instead of rubber bushes, imagine like jello bushes. That is exactly what this car is like. It is horrific. But, you know, who buys a Vectra to go quick, really? I suppose some people do, but you shouldn't. In terms of practicality, it's not too bad. I would say that it's not as big in the back, like legroom, as I would think it would be for a car of its size. Like, you could get 4 normal people in it quite well, but you know, I'm like a smidge over 6'4", so could you get 4 of me in it? No. I mean, you could, if we like folded up like a praying mantis. Boot's quite good. Not that you can put a lot of weight in it, because even though the Vectra is a hell of a lot bigger than, I don't know, a Corsa, the spring size, the thickness of the coils are pretty much identical, which means you can put weight in the boot, but it'll just snap the springs. Another thing that they're common for. This being the automatic, it's also common for snapping the front springs, because it being the automatic, the gearbox and everything's a little bit heavier, so a bit more weight on the front, so you hit a pothole a bit more aggressively, yeah, it breaks the springs. I have been quite lucky. I think I've gone through one broken spring on the back, that is it. But I don't hammer it over speed bumps. I do actually try to avoid potholes, and I don't treat it like it's a 7.5 ton pickup and put ridiculous amounts of weight in the boot. Fuel economy, that is the best thing about this car. Even though it's automatic, I know a lot of people say, oh, automatics, they drink the fuel. But I do the perfect combination of like urban driving, city driving, and then outside of the motorway driving. Right? Literally, I live in the city, I drive out the city, I'm on the motorway. I do the perfect mix of mileage. I don't drive it like I'm driving Miss Daisy, and I get between 48 and 51 to the gallon out of it, which is impressive, I think, considering, I mean, I don't nurse it, I don't sit at 60 mile an hour on the motorway going, oh my god, I need to save fuel. You know, I drive it normally like a normal person would. So yeah, fuel economy is amazing, best thing about it. In terms of reliability, I mean, it's only broke down a couple of times. In terms of looks of the car, I don't think it's too bad. I mean, it's not the sporty SRI. The reason they didn't go for the SRI is because most people that own Vauxhalls know that SRI usually stands for stuff removed inside, because you get all the nice flary bits like the skirts and the lowered side skirts and stuff like that. But on the inside, the SRI is the standard. It's so bland and so boring. Whereas the Elite is the opposite. It's got the same 150 brake engine, the 1.9 diesel 150 brake engine. It's got slightly nicer bumpers than the stock one, but the inside is way nicer. You get way more toys, you get the little dash trims, you get the little chrome handles, stuff like that. And that's the other thing on the outside on this Elite as well. I've got the chrome window surrounds, the chrome handles, it had factory optional extra like upgraded wheels on it. I mean, whoever bought it from factory spec'd it up really well, to be fair. I definitely would not have paid the amount that they paid for this for new. Ideally, I wanted an Audi when I bought this, but the equivalent was literally 2 to 2.5 times the price. And the interiors were still bland. That's one thing that puts me off about the older Audis. The interior was very bland. So I went for this because it was a lot newer, it was going to be reliable, and it was reasonably cheap to fix. Would I buy one now? I mean, I paid $5,000 for it 4 years ago. It was on $92,000. It's now on $135,000. I don't know, if I'm lucky it's worth $2,000. Would I pay $2,000 for this exact car now, or one in this condition? Probably not. I would say now that this is at the point where stuff's going to start breaking on it, stuff's going to start going wrong, and yes, parts are cheap for it, and I know if you buy an Audi or a BMW or a Mercedes, the parts are expensive, but I think they do tend to break down less. I think this can be false economy of people, they buy a cheaper make car and think, well, the parts are cheaper for it. Well, the parts are cheaper because they don't last as long. I mean, that's the experience I've had anyway. Plus, to be fair, the Skyline makes every car look bad. I mean, that's 21 years old, and other than the modifications I've put on it and servicing, all I've had to change on that car in 6 years is a wheel speed sensor. That is it. That is the only thing that's broken. And that's 21 years old, which makes this look shit. To be fair, it makes it look shit. But like I say, if you wanted a cheap car, if you had £2,000 and you thought, I want a car that's going to last me a couple of years, run it into the ground, and then cut my losses, fine. But don't think about buying one of these with moon miles on it, thinking this is going to last me 10 years, because it's not. I mean, it would, I suppose, if you remortgaged your house to fix it. But, you know, it's cheap, it's practical, it does what it's supposed to do. Just, it's a Vectra. If you want a car to drive like a sports car, buy a sports car. The gearbox is the most dim-witted gearbox in the world. So we're stopped at the satellites now. I'll try and prove it to you. So, okay, ready? And fall down. There we go. It's awake. Yeah. See, now that was literally flat to the floor. Literally, if there was a school for gearboxes, and then that school had different classes like, you know, A set, B set, C set, and remedials, this gearbox would be in remedials. I mean, it is ridiculous. And the thing that makes it worse is that you can't get used to it, because every now and then, like I would say 1 out of every 15 takeoffs, you will expect it to be its normal dim-witted self, and it takes off like Lewis Hamilton when the lights turn green. I mean, literally to the point where it will wheel spin off the line, and everyone looks at you like, what are you doing? You're in a diesel Vectra, you noob. But yeah, it's so dim-witted, and it's not just off the mark either. So we're in a 40 now, so I'll slow down to 30. Okay, so we're at 30. So say you wanted to, you know, sprightly pick up the speed, I'll deck the throttle ready. 1, 2, 3. There we go. Really? So, I hope you guys have enjoyed the video. Hope you found it reasonably informative, and if you were thinking about buying a Vectra, maybe this has swayed you one way or the other. I will be having more car reviews coming up, more interesting ones, I promise. I'm probably going to try and do a mixture of sort of modified cars, like sort of rarer modified cars, and then everyday cars, just because, you know, I like watching reviews on 800 brake Supras, like everybody does. But everybody doesn't drive an 800 brake Supra, and everyone isn't looking to buy an 800 brake Supra. So if any of you guys are thinking about buying a certain type of car, you know, like an everyday car, like a Vectra, a Focus, a Civic, or anything like that, if you want to drop me a comment, and if I can, I will try and get my hands on a car of similar spec or similar year to do a review on, just to give you a bit more insight. I don't know how well that'll work, but I'll give it a go. So I hope you guys have liked it. Don't forget to hit the like button, don't forget to subscribe. There will be videos every week, normally Wednesday. I try and upload them on a Wednesday. Take it easy, guys. See you later.